Kindle Kid presents Elmer and Rose, a beautiful story written by David McKee and animated by Kindle Kid. A young friend of Elmer's named Rose blushes from her head to her toes. Or sometimes instead, from her toes to her head, but never from her tail to her nose. Elmer, the Patchwork Elephant, was with his cousin Wilbur. They were looking at the herd of elephants. "Jolly fellows," smiled Wilbur, "but not exactly unique." "They're all unique," said Elmer. "Just not as different as us. Imagine a herd like you or me." At that moment, Bird arrived and said, "Grandpa Eldo wants you too." "Come on, Wilbur," said Elmer. Grandpa Eldo was looking under a bush. "Where is she?" he muttered. Then, seeing Elmer and Wilbur, he said, "She must be hiding from you too." "She," said Elmer. "Who are you talking about?" "Rose," said Eldo. "She wandered away from a herd of elephants that passed nearby. You two can take her back to them." "Ah, there she is. Don't be frightened, Rose. Come and meet Elmer and Wilbur." From behind a tree peeped a young elephant, a pink elephant. "Oh," said Elmer and Wilbur in surprise. "Very pretty," Elmer added quickly. Rose became even pinker. "She blushes very easily," whispered Eldo. "I imagine that's why she's called Rose." "Pleased to meet you," Rose said, and she blushed again. "You'll find the tracks of the herd by the lake. Just follow them," said Eldo. "You'll go faster than I would. Goodbye, Rose." Rose said goodbye very sweetly, blushed a deeper pink, and ran after Elmer and Wilbur. At the lake, they met another elephant. Rose stared and hid between Elmer and Wilbur. "Hello, Elmer." "Hello, Wilbur," said the elephant. "Hello," he continued awkwardly, looking at Rose. "Rose," said Elmer helpfully. After the elephant had gone, Rose said, "That's a strange one." Every so often, to make the journey more fun, they raced one another. Rose loved that because somehow she always won, and every time, she blushed even pinker. Between races, Wilbur played tricks with his voice. He made his voice roar from behind a rock and shout from a treetop. Rose squealed with excitement, blushed almost red, and held onto Elmer's trunk. Elmer just chuckled. Suddenly Rose said excitedly, "Listen, they're just over the hill. I'll go alone now. You may upset the others. They're quite shy. You're all such unusual elephants, especially the strange grey one we saw. Thank you for bringing me back. Come and visit us sometime," Elmer called after her. "Strange grey one? What did she mean?" asked Wilbur. "I think she was joking," said Elmer. From the hill, they watched Rose safely join the herd. "She wasn't joking," said Elmer. "No wonder she thought the grey elephant was strange. The elephants in Rose's herd were all pink." Going home, Elmer and Wilbur were met by Eldo. "You knew about the pink elephants, didn't you, Grandpa Eldo?" said Elmer. "Yes, I wanted you to see them," said Eldo. "Rose was nice," said Wilbur. "I thought she was unique, and she thought the grey elephant was unique." They're probably all nice, unique or not, said Elmer. Wilbur grinned. Remember what you said, Elmer? Imagine a herd like one of us. Especially like you, Elmer, laughed Eldo. Elmer smiled and said nothing. He was imagining a herd of elephants like himself. Thank you for watching the video. Please subscribe the channel.
Kindle Kid presents Elmer and the Stranger. A beautiful story written by David McKee. Elmer, the Patchwork Elephant, had just started his morning walk when Tiger arrived. "Elmer," he said, "there's a stranger around and he's acting very strangely. He jumps and falls over. Strangers often act strangely, that's why." "They're strangers," said Elmer. "Well, I don't think he's happy," said Tiger. Just then Lion appeared. "Hello, Elmer." "Hello, Tiger," he said. "Elmer, there's a strange chap around. He sort of jumps," said Tiger. "Elmer knows. And then he he falls over," finished Tiger. "Elmer knows. Yes, well also he seems unhappy," said Tiger. "Elmer knows. Let's just go and see," said Elmer kindly. Soon they came to a clearing. "This is where he usually jumps," said Tiger. "And falls over," added Lion. "And here he comes." With huge bounces, into the clearing came a kangaroo. Then he stopped, hesitated, and fell over. He picked himself up and sobbed, "I'm a failure." "Not a happy chappy," said Lion. "Let's talk to him," said Elmer. "Hello," said Elmer. "What's the matter?" "Hello," Kangaroo sniffed. "I can't jump. When I try to, I fall over. We're going to have a jumping competition and I came here to practice, secretly. But it's no use. I can't jump. I'll be laughed at." "I'm a good bouncer," said Kangaroo and, to prove it, bounced higher than Giraffe who happened to be passing. "Very impressive," said Tiger. "But when I think about the jump I fall over," sighed Kangaroo. "This needs some thought," said Elmer. "We'll be back tomorrow." "But you were jumping beautifully," said Tiger. "Oh no, I was just bouncing along getting ready to jump." On the way home, Lion said, "Elmer, I know I'm a bit slow, but isn't a bounce a kind of jump?" "Yes, Lion," said Elmer. "But Kangaroo thinks that a jump is something more difficult, more important. Like sometimes if you think about going to sleep, you can't. When you don't think about it, you soon drop off." "Lion doesn't have that problem," said Tiger. Elmer laughed and left them. The next morning, after talking to Lion and Tiger, Elmer went to meet Kangaroo. "Come on, Kangaroo," he said. "Lion and Tiger will be by the river." Elmer set off at a steady pace, while Kangaroo bounced behind him, in front of him, around him and even over him. At the river, they saw Lion and Tiger on the other side, where Elmer had told them to wait. "Drat," said Elmer. "We'll get our feet wet." Kangaroo laughed, and with an enormous bounce landed beside Lion and Tiger. "Fantastic jump," said Tiger. "You mean your bounce," said Kangaroo. "I can't jump." Lion chuckled. "A bounce is a jump." "Lion's right," said Elmer. "Forget jumping, just bounce. Now, let's go to that competition." Kangaroo led the way, delighted that his new friends were going with him. They arrived just as the competition began. After a while, Elmer said, "Come on, Kangaroo, it's time you had a go." There was a roar of applause as a white kangaroo made an enormous jump. "That will be hard to beat," said Kangaroo. Elmer whispered to Lion and Tiger. They grinned and went to stand just past the spot where the white kangaroo had landed. As Kangaroo was getting ready, Elmer said, "Drat! We'll get our feet wet." Kangaroo gave a laugh, and with an enormous bounce once again landed beside Lion and Tiger. That jump won the competition. Later, Kangaroo thanked Elmer, Lion, and Tiger for their help. "You made me remember the river," he said. "I didn't think about jumping." When they were back home, Lion said, "Strange thing, I felt that we were the strangers," finished Tiger. "Yes," laughed Elmer. "And now we're all friends," they laughed together.
Kindle Kid presents A Tale of Two Feathers.
One starry night, Otis Owl was sitting high in the trees, hunting for a tasty mouse. Suddenly, he spotted a shiny blue feather. "I've never seen this sort of feather before," he thought. "I wonder who it belongs to." He asked his friend, Navila Nightjar, "Have you seen any birds with feathers like this?" "I've never seen this sort of feather before," said Navila. "Why don't you ask Nigel Nightingale?" Otis took the feather to his friend, Nigel Nightingale. "Have you seen any birds with feathers like this?" he asked. "I've never seen this sort of feather before," said Nigel. "Why don't you ask Candace Corncrake?" Otis flew to see his friend, Candace Corncrake. "Have you seen any birds with feathers like this?" he asked. "I've never seen this sort of feather before," said Candace. "Why don't you get some rest and search some more tomorrow night?" The sun was starting to rise and the night was nearly over. Otis returned to his tree and settled down to sleep. That morning, Kia Kingfisher was sitting by the river, searching for a delicious minnow. Suddenly, she spotted a stripy white feather. "I don't know any birds with feathers like this," she thought. "I wonder where it came from." She asked her friend, Wilma Woodpecker, "Do you know who might have dropped this feather?" "I don't know any birds with feathers like this," said Wilma. "Why don't you ask Billy Bluetit?" Kia took the white feather to her friend, Billy Bluetit. "Do you know who might have dropped this feather?" she asked. I don't know any birds with feathers like this, said Billy. Why don't you ask Bertie Bullfinch? Kia flew to see her friend, Bertie Bullfinch. Do you know who might have dropped this feather? She asked. I don't know any birds with feathers like this, said Bertie. Why don't you get some rest and search some more? In the morning, the sun had begun to set and the day was nearly over. Exhausted, Kia settled down on a branch to rest. The sun disappeared and the forest became dark. Otis woke up, ready for another night of searching for the mysterious bird. He stepped out of his nest and was met by the most unusual sight. Right in front of his beak, sitting on his very own branch, was a bird with shiny blue feathers. It's you, Otis hooted. What? Who? Shrieked Kia. She stared at the bird that had interrupted her sleep. It was a bird with stripy white feathers. Oh, it's you. I've been looking everywhere for you, the two birds said at the same time. What are you doing out at night? Asked Kia. Well, this is when I am awake, said Otis, confused. Awake at night, said Kia. But then what do you do during the day? Well, I sleep, of course, said Otis. Suddenly, the mystery was solved. This was why they had never met before. Otis had always thought that everyone slept during the day, while Kia had not realized that some animals only come out at night. Come on, said Otis. Let me show you my world. The two new friends flew through the forest, feeling very glad to have finally found each other. Wow, gasped Kia. Everything looks so different at night time. I can't wait to see what it looks like in the daylight, said Otis. Let's meet again tomorrow, suggested Kia, and I can show you my world. Kindle Kid presents Little Red Riding Hood.
Once upon a time there was a girl called Little Red Riding Hood. She lived with her mother in a village near a forest. One day, Little Red Riding Hood went to visit her grandmother. She took a basket of food with her. On her way, Little Red Riding Hood met a wolf.
Hello. Where are you going?
I'm going to visit my grandmother who lives in the forest.
The wolf ran to her grandmother's house. He went inside and locked her in the wardrobe. He put on her nightgown and got into her bed. A little later, Little Red Riding Hood came to the house. She knocked on the door, then went inside. Little Red Riding Hood went over to grandmother's bed.
Oh Granny, what big ears you have.
All the better to hear you with.
Oh Granny, what big eyes you have.
All the better to see you with.
Oh Granny, what big teeth you have.
All the better to eat you with.
spotted Little Red Riding Hood as she realized that there was a wolf in her grandmother's bed. She ran out of the house. A woodcutter was nearby. He heard Little Red Riding Hood scream and ran to the house. The woodcutter hit the wolf over the head. The wolf ran away, and Little Red Riding Hood never saw him again. Later, the girl and her grandmother thanked the woodcutter, and the wolf never returned. Thank you for watching the video. See you next time.